But let's break down the playoff itself, okay? Because I feel like we were cheated. Like the sport was cheated. We got a bunch of crooks on the committee who left out an undefeated. Don't you smile. I know. This is you. This is you. Crooks on the committee with this backwoods bias bullshit. We can't leave the SEC out. Motherfucker, every other conference has had to sit out one time or another in this broken 4-team playoff. We got 5 conferences, 4 spots, musical chairs, and Mike, the SEC, it was their turn to sit out. And the committee couldn't do it. We have an undefeated Florida State team sitting on the outs, not in the postseason. This is a mistake. They did not get it right. I want to start with that. Did they get it right or not? And let you do your Bama thing. No. Florida State should be in the playoff.
I will go back to what I've been telling you for weeks. There's right and there's real. I'm not arguing the right. I argue real. The other thing I warned you about and warned the listeners about, the committee told you they're going to do, like Teddy KGB once said in the movie Rounders, I will do whatever the fuck I want in my house.
But we don't have to like it or defend it.
No. You don't have to like it. I'm not telling you you do.
But you're going to defend it.
Because I live in reality and because I've accepted something. Some people accept Jesus in their life. I accept this is nothing more than reality TV.
It's a beauty pageant more than it is a sport.
There was
and
a point. Was there a point in your life, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that you finally accepted Santa Claus wasn't real? Probably.
Okay.
My point is, these people are pieces of shit.
Yes.
They are feckless scumbags.
Thank you.
But when they tell you, focus on best 4, we are going to put the best 4 in. They have said this on television. Jim, I can't, it's a lot like politics. I can't take politics seriously because they don't work for us. They work for themselves, both parties. The college football playoff works for the network. This is good television. This is great football. You have every right to go down the path you're going. What you don't have a right to do is to verbally abuse a friend and a business partner. Because I just choose to acknowledge the tooth fairy's not real. Santa not real.
But you could harness your passion for good instead of just ignoring and placating and allowing this to be acceptable.
Here's why I can't.
Speak power to truth.
Let me speak power to truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so in order for me to do my job as a radio host and do it in a fair way, right, and not go like insane tinfoil mode, I had to let go of what right is. Right is Michigan never should have been allowed in the Big Ten title game. But I had to let go of that. Why? Television and reality.
Well, and they beat Ohio State and Penn State.
No, they cheated their dicks off. They cheated their dicks off, including this season.
Against Ohio State and Penn State?
No, stop. Scouting as many as 8 Ohio State games. Jim, my point to you is I let it go.
Okay.
And I said, here's the deal, guys. You're never not going to play. There's too much money. It's like when people talk about, man, when integrity takes a backseat to greed. Well, that's acting as if integrity was ever in the car.
No, but hold on. This is supposed to be a sport. It can have beauty pageant elements. You can do a swimsuit competition if you'd like. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a sport where we keep score. We have winners and losers.
Right.
Winning matters. Losing gets you punished. Losing is what keeps you out of the playoff, not in because of the conference you play in.
Jim, they jumped the shark, buddy. It's wrestling. It's Bravo TV.
Oh, it is. I agree with you.
I don't know what to tell you.
I'm going to call it what it is.
You said yesterday, you texted me this, and you're like, I feel bad for people like you, which is insulting enough. But you go, because you're getting left behind. And it's like, yeah, because there was a time in my life I agreed completely with you. I was you. And you learn. You have to let go of it or you're driven to insanity. I cannot sit here and tell you they got it wrong because A, I understand the world we're living in. B, they have allowed themselves this latitude. That's the problem.
Sure.
If you have an issue, you need to attack the rules that the committee needs to follow. If you want to say straight up, as Teddy KGB once said, there should be a bylaw in there that if you're an undefeated Power 5 champion, you should never be left out. However, if there's 2 of them, then we'll go tiebreakers, boop,
head-to-heads, whatever.
Right. They were never letting FSU in with Sassenfasser or Brock Glenn as their quarterback. It was never happening.
But some of the arguments to me are so disingenuous to leave Florida State out. The first is, well, they're down to their third string quarterback.
Okay.
No, they're not.
They're down to their backup.
They're down to their backup. And if they were down to their third string quarterback, we have documented example in the playoff era of a third string quarterback winning a national title. You should not be able to disqualify a team who has yet to lose a game in a power conference.
We got a timeout on the field. Let's
ahead.
take it with him. Shout out Ron Franklin, ESPN College Football Saturday Night. Cardell Jones, I know what you're referring to. Now, you're big on research. You're better than this. You're a beautiful man. You're a very talented radio host. Cardell Jones put 60 on Wisconsin.
59, but who's counting?
My bad.
My point is,
okay, I got to see Sassenfasser play Florida. He was putrid.
they won by double digits on the road in the Swamp, something that Alabama couldn't do against their rival the very same week.
A touchdown with 30 seconds to go while killing the clock.
They covered the spread. Something that Alabama couldn't do on the road against 6-6 Auburn. I just don't get how.
Schedule, Alabama number 5, Florida State 55. How do you account for that gap?
You have to base it on the results on the field.
No,
you
I
can't
don't.
say we played a tough schedule, but we lost. It's great that you played a tough schedule, but you have to win that big game against Texas. You don't get credit for scheduling it. You get credit for winning it.
Jimmy, you're yelling. The point I'm making is they don't have to do what you're saying because in their rules, they say they don't.
They only have to do what I'm saying is if they want to be a sport. If they want to be a beauty pageant, which clearly that's the decision they have been
college
making.
Football's always been.
Not next year.
Oh, really?
Next year we go into the light, into a better way, Mike, because I won't be the only person to make the point this week, but this is more proof of why a 12-team playoff is necessary. But the last thing on the disingenuousness.
Hold on. Let me say this, and then you can continue your sanctimonious siesta.
Please, thank you. I'd appreciate it.
I think we finally, what year did the playoff start? Was it
13 or 14.
So we went basically a decade where they were able to whistle by the graveyard, never having this situation.
It was always a possibility.
It always worked its way out, right?
And it nearly did if Louisville gets it done.
Right. And then finally, they got bit in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think when you look at actual football, like you're the one saying, Mike, it's about games and results.
Yes.
What is inarguable here is if you set aside this virtue, which is, I'm not blaming you for this. I think you've been fairly square on this. I blame a lot of the eunuchs in the media who won't say the word cheating or scandal when it comes to Michigan, but now they want to be the do what's right police when it comes to Florida State.
I never, listen.
I didn't say you.
I know, but I'm getting hit in the crossfire on it.
Why is that?
Because you paint me as this closet Wolverine fan. Mike.
Wait a minute. Do you think I carry that much power?
I mean, you have a certain persuasiveness about you. I don't think anybody listening to this podcast would disagree.
Did you go to Michigan games growing up?
I went. They were the closest Division I school. I don't paint my face. I don't get excited when they win. In fact,
if you painted your face, would you be sitting here doing this podcast?
I would not.
No.
But Mike, I had no issue making it Michigan-Texas as the opening playoff matchup.
Which I think is a really interesting point.
Right, because Texas is the one-loss team that would get in. They should be the 4-seed, Michigan the 1. I'm not trying to give Michigan a free space or a freebie. Now, some people are arguing in bad faith for that reason, but I'm getting hit in the crossfire. Mike, I just want the undefeated ACC champion to be in.
But hold on, can I ask you this question? When we look at this and we go, all right, undefeated ACC champion, Let's look at this in
the ACC, who had a better record head-to-head against the SEC this season.
The problem is the ACC is ass. Second of all, Florida State's best win by name and by number are two different things. By name, you go LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Was LSU the same team then as they are now? No. Second of all, LSU lost 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
So Bama's best win is... They just ended Georgia's 100-game winning streak.
29.
And they bodied them. Remember the guy?
Oh.
No. Physically, they bodied them.
Okay. Milroe, who has been a key cog in this Bama turnaround, threw for 192 yards and ran for 29.
How much did they run for as a team? Just asking.
As a team, 100 yards.
Right. But what did they do?
What
did they do to Georgia running the ball? 31 carries for 80 yards.
My point is, if those two teams play that game in the North, we call it broke dick Big Ten football, but they play it in the South. And might I mind you, This SEC, not as dominant as it's been in years past. Zombie Bama, you would acknowledge. They don't have a Derrick Henry, a Mark Ingram. They don't have the Julio Jones, the Waddles and Smiths on the outside. This is a lower skill level Bama team than we've had in years. Georgia, not the same dominant team the last 2 years. All the marquee non-con games for the SEC, L's, but we can't leave them out. I think that's a bias from yesteryear, from last year and the year before. If the SEC is down, it'd be the perfect year to leave them out because they weren't good enough.
Let me ask you a question. Right here, right now, if we take out your Paw Patrol, virtue, and we go best 4 teams in America, do you really believe that Georgia and Alabama aren't 2 of the best 4?
I think best is determined by results, not hypotheticals.
No. It's not hypothetical. Answer me.
No, it is a hypothetical.
Jim, you watch more football than 99% of radio hosts. Georgia and Bama, from a quality standpoint, are 2 of the 4 best teams in America.
You would put both of them in.
I didn't say that. Because I'm not going to devalue or disrespect your point and say both should be in and you're a clown. No, I'm saying football is what matters at the end because of what these networks have paid. We know it's a beauty pageant. Michigan and Alabama is infinitely a better product than Michigan and a compromised FSU.
Then it's not a legitimate sport.
Okay. And guess what? I am here to tell you what people who came before me told me when I was you. College football's never been a legitimate sport.
Because you're right, because it's always been a bunch of writers at the end of the season that pull a name out of a hat.
Think about it. The governing body had all the power in the world except naming a national champion. Think about it.
I know.
So I look, and I've also experienced this, and this is where this is not a shot, but I have seen twice in my life my own school beat Michigan head to head and get boned out of the better bowl game.
Yeah, Spartans' tears taste like sugar.
Sure.
I remember.
So I guess I've learned the hard way.
That life's not fair, that college football isn't fair.
Right, it's just a bunch of crooks. But
they are a bunch of crooks.
But the SEC getting left out is an asinine opinion.
Should have been left out.